ladies and gentlemen, my name is Putty, and welcome back for another edition of the best damn territorial wrestling on the planet. Today, it is February 2023. We are live at the Capitol Gardens, a wonderful outdoor complex in downtown DC that includes some of the greatest hotspots in nature, and of course, as this planet by 2023, incredibly hot this time of year, probably, and of course the wrestling fans have been enjoying their picnics, have been enjoying their day out, but tonight it's the main event. Tonight it's the Wrestling Classic, and it is a big year for many here at Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. One of those, of course, two of those perhaps, are Dewie Archer, the architect of your destruction, and the big bad Wolfe, George Wolfe, both men seeking to get their 2023 campaign off to a good start, or at least a good enough start, at least after the Ripcord Invitational, of course, last month. Both men will compete in our main event of the evening. George Wolfe, Dewie Archer, big match, definitely could be called a wrestling classic. Harkens back to the days of 2016, 2017, where both men were at each other's throats. Of course, they're very different people now. It's come a very long way since those days. George Wolfe standing up against the tyranny that is the cheating and corner-cutting version of Team Progress. A project, of course, that he himself started. But it's bastardized, it's changed, it's morphed, and he wants no longer to be a part of it. But tonight, he takes his sights away from Logan Wolfsbane and his merry men, and he looks at Dewie Archer, the architect. Much more tonight. Tune in to find out what else. Let's get started. So we kick things off with Ernest Youngman. We have a vignette on the Minitron. We have a small little screen. I don't think most of the crowd could see it, but on the DVD it comes across very clear. There is it's almost like a Blair Witch Project style hand cam with the date and the time down in the bottom right, and you can see that Ernest Youngman is talking to us from earlier in the month, about the 2nd or 3rd of February, and he's on a plane. Ernest Youngman is on a plane, very, very fancy transportation for a member of the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling roster, but there he is, the wrestling machine, the best there's ever been, Ernest Youngman on the plane, and he looks into the camera and he says, "Folks, Mid-Atlantic fans, I have had a whirlwind couple of years in my career. It wasn't too long ago that I was sitting unemployed, no company to my name, and it took just one man, one inspired boss man, to give me a chance. But here we are in 2023, and I have had a star-studded, a glorious career. I am a 3-time world's heavyweight champion, the current, reigning, defending champion of the Mid-Atlantic. There have been so many challengers, so many attackers for my throne, but I stand before you still the king." So 2023 is going to be the best year yet. 2023 is going to be the year of Ernest Youngman, because I stand here before you as the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Champion, and I gotta tell you, there's only 2 titles in this business that I haven't won. That is the World's Tag Team Championships and the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championships. So soon, my friends, we will begin the search for Ernest Youngman's tag team partner. Could it be the Puerto Rican Power? Could that be why I'm on a plane tonight? Could I be looking for my Sam Keith Classic winning tag team partner? Oh no, I have bigger plans. There is a big, big event in February. Sadly, it is not at the Capitol Gardens. It is not at Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, but trust me when I say it is going to affect the future of this company and so many others. So watch this space. Ernest Youngman, excited for some sort of event. He's on a plane, guys. He is on a plane. Let's kick off the matches of the evening with Fro Shore defeating Cameron Jones. We haven't seen a lot of Cameron Jones recently, but Cameron Jones, of course, we know his singles style. He is a hot tag team wrestler, also a very, very competent singles wrestler. He's got that bull in a china shop attitude. When he gets his momentum going, he's unstoppable. He's the unstoppable force. And indeed, Fro Shore is a desperate man. You know, he needs to do something good this year because he's had a really, really rough couple years. We knew that he wanted this business to put a roof over his wife and kids' heads, to put his wife back through college, to provide for his family. He was always looking for that one opportunity to not live paycheck to paycheck, that one opportunity to make it in the business. But of course, it's been rough. He moved out here to DC, to the Carolinas, to try and get that big break here in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. That strained his relationship with his family, and now he sits here having lost everything to professional wrestling, and he needs to get something back out of it. And indeed, this is a good way to get started in 2023, picking up the victory with that sure thing. As we move on to a promo from Lisa Bowen in the interview area, who says, "My boys, the Heartbreak Express, are the greatest express-based tag team in the history of professional wrestling, and I gotta tell ya, they continue to get better. They've beaten everyone from here to the Carolinas, and I look down the tag team roster and I don't see anyone who can beat my boys. So I'm gonna tell you now, you better be wary and you better be frightful, because there ain't nobody who can stop the Heartbreak Express." And the Heartbreak Express do indeed defeat some local jobbers. Johnny Needham pins Danny Baker. Confident, dominant performance from the Heartbreak Express. They claim to be the greatest express-based tag team in the history of professional wrestling. Is that the correct moniker for them? Well, tonight they pick up the victory, and they are indeed on a roll. And we head into another hot matchup as Logan Wolfsbane defeats the fast-talking LA Livin' Earl Martin in a first-ever matchup. Earl Martin tries to put in a spirited performance. The LA local man, Earl Martin, who of course went to SWF, talked too fast, wrestled too fast, had too much of that LA lifestyle for SWF management, and indeed came into Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, wants to pay his dues, wants to work his way up the territories. He's doing so. A spirited performance here tonight against the leader of Team Progress and the former Mid-Atlantic Wrestling champion, but in the end, it is Logan Wolfsbane, the nasty, vicious, and brutal competitor that we know him to be, who locks in that nasty Boston Crab, inflicting some brutality upon the face and the back and the legs of Earl Martin, just working him down, and in the end, picking up that victory. Good stuff from Logan Wolfsbane, hopefully perhaps going to get back into that title picture, or perhaps beyond, you never know. He has a lot of hope on his side, of course. One of the most dominant performers of the 2020s. And we cut back to Ernest Youngman this time on the date on the hand cam. We see that it's a little later, maybe 3 or 4 days later, and Ernest Youngman is smiling and he points the camera towards the giant coliseum, and he says, "Folks, I gotta tell you, this is the Jose Miguel Agrelot Coliseum. It is one of the most famous arenas in the world. It is one of the greatest arenas to have ever hosted a wrestling event. And indeed it is here where Freedom Caribbean Wrestling are hosting their next event. It is here where I won my first ever heavyweight championship of the world, a title that I have held 3 times, count them, 3 times. It is right here in the Jose Miguel Agrelot Coliseum that I began my journey to the top, where I began my process of becoming the wrestling machine, the greatest there's ever been. It was here where I slayed the Puerto Rican Power, the first name in my legendary title reigns. And it is here that I complete that journey, I complete that circle, and I begin the year of Ernest Youngman." And the camera turns off, and it is on the Minitron, and it shows that Ernest Youngman is here tonight. And he has an announcement to make, and that will be the main event of the evening. As we move on to a hot 6-man tag match, as Gary Walker teams with the Aces of Mayhem to take on Team Progress. Of course, Dean and Marv just working down Ace Youngblood, Max Mayhem, just trying to work them down, isolate them, keep them in the ring general's corner. Of course, we have that traditional heel tag team expertise that the men from New York have proven on time, immortal, have proven that they're capable of course, former World Tag Team Champions, former Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, some of the most successful, in fact, the most successful territorial tag team of all time, and it seems like they've worked over Ace Youngblood and Max Mayhem just enough that they could pick up the victory, but in the end, it is a huge hot tag to Gary Walker, the hard-working, high-flying, high-fighting, fast-paced, energetic man who's worked his way from the bottom, who originally in this business was a commentator, and was sick and tired of seeing guys like Logan Wolfsbane taking shortcuts and doing things the wrong way, so he went into the Mid-Atlantic Dojo, and he fought his way into this business. And that passion and that fire is what drives him with every hot tag that he takes. And indeed, he brings the fire, he brings the aggression as he beats down both members of the Ring Generals, beats down Robin DeLay, gets him isolated, hulks himself up, looks into the crowd and sees the smiles on their faces and uses that as passion and energy and hits the ropes, and big bionic clothesline to finish off Robin DeLay Good victory for Gary Walker, and a further victory in the war against Team Progress. As we head to the interview area, where Austin Smooth is back in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, we see him every now and then with the occasional exciting appearance, but he is infrequent. But he looks down Sweet Tabitha and says, "I gotta tell you, baby girl, one of the greatest things about being in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling is getting to do interviews with the best interviewer on the planet today, Sweet Tabitha. But there's more to Mid-Atlantic Wrestling than just the interviewing expertise of the sweetest girl. Oh no, there is more to Mid-Atlantic Wrestling than just Sweet Tabitha, because tonight, Austin Smooth is in town, and I gotta tell you, I love this place. I look at Ernest Youngman, and I see a man who is my kindred spirit, and we have done battle on that battlefield of professional wrestling so many times. I'm smooth, he might just be smoother. But I tell you what, he thinks he's the wrestling machine. You're looking at someone who is much more than a machine. You know, up in Canada, they call the Stones faceless wrestling machines, and that might just be Ernest Youngman, but you gotta add a little bit of panache. You gotta add a little bit of flash. You gotta add a little bit of smooth. And that's who I am. I'm not a machine. I'm a human being. And tonight, I get to prove it once again in my favorite wrestling promotion. And Austin Smooth does indeed go out and have a very good match. Well, it was okay. It was fine. Subpar wrestling. Okay then. Has a match against Hurricane. Hurricane, of course, brings that high-flying lucha action, but Austin Smooth grounding the luchador, working him down, grinding out that victory with those smooth hold-for-hold technical attitude. Just slowing down Hurricane, who, of course, likes the pace to be high-octane, likes the pace to be fast. But tonight, he was slowed down, and he was kept at bay by Easy Money Austin Smooth, who picks up the victory with the smooth hold. And ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our main event match of the evening. Of course, we're going to have a big announcement from Ernest Youngman to finish off the show tonight, but before that we have the Big Bad Wolf, George Wolfe, former leader of Team Progress, taking on the architect of your destruction, Dewie Archer. And indeed, these two have had many battles, and tonight is another great battle between the two. George Wolfe, of course, more of a gritty technician. He's got that brawling style too, and he brings it to Dewie Archer. He goes lefts, rights, just punching Dewie Archer in that jaw of his, trying to set him off balance so he can begin working on those gritty, more down-to-earth technical moves that George Wolfe is known for. But Dewie Archer's flashier than that. Dewie Archer has more panache, as Austin Smooth calls it, and indeed, he goes hold for hold, flashy, move for move with George Wolfe. And Dewie Archer manages to get the pace on his side. And Dewie Archer, with that flashy, charismatic grappling that we've come to love here in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, is able to out-grapple George Wolfe, a man who is so brutal, who is so aggressive, and who is so good, technically. He's out-wrestled by Dewie Archer tonight, who has come so far over the last couple of years. And indeed, Dewie Archer makes it look easy as he goes from one hold to another, working over every single limb that George Wolfe has, slowing down the big behemoth of a man. And in the end, although it is a spirited performance from George Wolfe, he is put down by the legendary Proton Lock by Dewie Archer, picking up the victory in a big main event match for him as he kicks off a big year. Of course, Dewie Archer promises to evolve this year, really change, and prove to the world that he's the uncrowned champion. He's the uncrowned number one contender. And indeed, he gets off to a good start tonight. And then, of course, we have our main event segment as Ernest Youngman comes out to a huge reaction, of course. The ace around here picks up a microphone. He's in this big trench coat. He's got his sunglasses on. He's got a huge trench coat covering his entire body. And he picks up the microphone and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ernest Youngman. I'm the wrestling machine. I'm the greatest there's ever been, and I gotta tell ya, I'm the ace that runs this place. I'm in the middle of one of the best title reigns in the history of professional wrestling. And I gotta tell you, whether it's James Diaz or Davis Wayne Newton, they can come after me whenever they want, because I will add their names to this legendary title reign. They may be the future, but the future goes through me, and giants may fall and diamonds may fade, but folks, I gotta tell ya, Ernest Youngman is forever, baby." Now, you saw my videos, you saw my travels. I was involved in some of the greatest events this territorial system has ever had this last month. And to cap it all off, I got to go back to Puerto Rico. I got to fight an Australian. I got to have a great match in front of the millions. Well, it was actually only a few thousand, but still thousands of people. In my favorite Coliseum, the one place that I kickstarted my career. Where I kickstarted my rise to the top. And you know, people have called me a World's Heavyweight Champion. They've called me a 3-time World's Heavyweight Champion, but that's not exactly accurate. Because now, you gotta call me Ernest 2 belts. And he rips off the trench coat to reveal the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Championship. And the big gold that of course represents the Heavyweight Championship of the world. And Ernest Youngman takes those sunglasses off, throws them into the crowd and says, "You are looking at the first ever 4-time World's Heavyweight Champion. I am the most decorated man in the history of the territories, and if this isn't a statement to everybody out there, this is the year of Ernest Youngman, and I don't know what is." I've won everything. Sam Keith Classic, Ripcord Invitational, Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship, World's Heavyweight Championship 1, 2, 3, 4 times. But now it's time to finish off the collection, to go back home and see a full trophy case. So I gotta look into the eyes of every man, woman, or child in the back, and I gotta tell you, there's an opportunity. The greatest opportunity you'll ever have, because I want a tag team partner that will take me to the top. I want a tag team partner that we are going to win everything and anything there is to win. I need someone on my level. So I gotta look into your eyes, and I've gotta see a man who believes in what I believe. And I gotta see a man who believes in the future. This year is the year of Ernest Youngman, and somebody's gonna get to come along for the ride. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I am once again the heavyweight champion of the world, and I will once again represent MAW all over it. And Ernest Youngman heads back through the crowd to a chorus of cheers. A celebration begins for your new heavyweight champion of the world, who won the title in Puerto Rico a few weeks ago. Congratulations to him, and congratulations to everyone for a decent show here at the Capitol Gardens. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Check out the rest of the series. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're feeling especially generous and particularly like the show, there is a link to my Patreon in the description. And if you want to check out my Twitter, the link to that is also in the description. Thank you all once again for watching. Join me next time for the next show. The show's names always get muddled this time of year, so I'm not even going to guess what it is. Yeah, I hope you guys will join me then. I don't really have any plans. I have long-term plans this year. I have no clue what I'm doing month to month. So let's all see what's going to happen. Ernest Youngman, of course, begins his search for a tag team partner that he can win all the gold with. Let's find out if he finds that partner next time. See you guys then.